Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be testing Fire and Ice from Amaco. I'll be testing this glaze on 7 different clay body test tiles as well as on a textured white stoneware mug. This is a Cone 6 glaze that's listed as lead-free and non-toxic by the manufacturer. Before I open this glaze, I want to make sure that it's mixed extremely well. I start by using my thumbs to secure the lid while I give it a good shake. After a firm shake, I want to make sure this glaze is thoroughly mixed using a drill with an egg beater attachment. It's important to make sure that a glaze is completely mixed so there aren't any lumps or clumps in the mix. If you have lumps that aren't mixed in, or if you have material clumped up at the bottom of the jar, your glaze may not perform as expected because it's technically missing ingredients. So be sure to mix until the entire mixture is smooth and consistent. A weird note on this glaze, it came out of the jar as thick as Greek yogurt, which I don't personally love when it comes to application. Glazes that are thick like this can be tricky to apply to the pot evenly. You can thin a glaze out with an agent like Darvan, but I want to do these tests as the glazes are sold so you can know exactly what to expect straight off the shelf. I'm going to be brushing glaze onto my test tile. I brush my tiles in 1, 2, and 3 coats with the thickest coat at the top of the tile. I fire my tiles hanging on a high alumina rod to see how the glaze will perform on a vertical surface. In this way, I'm testing for running. With the thickest coat of glaze at the top of the tile, if it's going to run, it's got somewhere to go. I like to test glazes on a lot of different clay bodies to get a general idea of how a glaze is going to behave on different colors and surfaces. Everyone out there is working with a different kind of clay, and maybe one of these tiles can help you guess at what might happen for you. As always, I strongly recommend that you make your own test tiles and fire them in your own kiln. Fire your tiles exactly how you would fire your normal work. There are a lot of different factors that go into how a glaze is going to turn out, and the best way to see how a glaze is going to work for you in your kiln on your clay with your application process is to do your own testing. Looking at the textured white stoneware mug, this glaze is giving a combination of blue, red, and white. In the areas where the glaze pooled, I'm seeing a lot more of the blue. There's some streaking of the red across some of the flat areas, as well as a bit of red mixed into the blue. There's a significant amount of crazing on this mug. This seems to be a fairly fluid glaze with almost a drip forming at the base of the handle. It seems a bit tricky to get the colors right, as if you apply too thick, you're likely to see some running, and if you apply too thin, you're going to get more of the white patches. This is a copper reduction red that's been designed to fire in an electric oxidation kiln. The red and blue are vibrant, but not super consistent in coverage at 2 coats. On my white stoneware test tile, we're seeing those vibrant colors from the 3-coat layer, but with a good deal of downward movement on the tile. The glaze breaks to a white near the areas of texture and in areas of thinner application. The Laguna B mix tile looks much the same as the white stoneware. The colors are strong and vibrant with a bit of downward movement to the glaze. On Laguna Frost Porcelain, we're seeing that bright red and blue with fluidity pulling the glaze down on the tile. On my speckled stoneware, there's a vibrant red with blue at the edges and pooling in areas. There's significant downward motion, and I think with any thicker of an application, the glaze would have dripped off this tile. The speckles are nearly completely muted under this glaze. The Laguna Speckled Buff tile has vibrant color on flat surfaces with substantial breaking over the textured areas. There's a bit of downward motion on the tile, and the speckles are again pretty well muted. The bright colors also come through strong on red stoneware as well. The red stoneware doesn't seem to have as much downward movement on the tile. There is some, but it isn't pooling at the bottom of the tile like it did on some of the other clay bodies we've looked at today. The coloration of this glaze on Laguna B3 Black stoneware is a bit muddier than the other tiles. The movement seems to be a little bit less on the darker clay as well. All around this glaze produces some combination of red and blue. It seems to have a strong tendency to break over textures and in my opinion looks best on lighter clay bodies. I would encourage you to take caution and do your own testing as this appears to be a fairly fluid glaze. You might want to apply this glaze thick to get more of that vibrant color, but I fear that if you apply it too thick you could run into issues with this glaze running off the piece. So be sure to take caution and do your own testing. I wasn't a huge fan of how thick this glaze was straight out of the jar, so adding a thinning agent like Darvan might help with getting a more even and consistent application. This is absolutely a glaze that you will need to do your own testing with to figure out, but once you get your details nailed down, I'm sure you can use it to make some incredible work in your studio. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed learning more about this glaze and can make use of this information in your own studio. If you'd like to help support my channel so I can get more glazes to test for you, consider becoming a member of my channel right here on YouTube for early video access. If you'd like to see all the ceramics I currently have available for sale, visit my website, bluenosetrading.com. If you want to stick around for more art videos, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. Thank you so much for being here until the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink enough water, and I will see y'all in the next video.